Shamim. Time for Speak Uganda News. A very good evening to you all of viewers, and thank you for joining Record TV tonight. I am Shamim Nabakooza and Sarah Ochirot on the other side of the sign language to take you through the news first. We look at what is making headlines tonight. In our top stories tonight, Kyagulanyi files application to withdraw election petition, gives 6 reasons as Supreme Court sets out to start hearing on notice. Human Rights Committee of Parliament fails to probe election violence, cites lack of funds. And Parliament gives government 1-day ultimatum to release list of abducted Ugandans. Details and more stories in Speak Uganda tonight. Thank you for joining us in this edition of Speak Uganda News once again. I am Shamim Nabakooza and Sarah Ochirot on the other side of the sign language. We're live on our social media platforms too, Record TV Uganda and Facebook, on Twitter at Record TV UG. Now starting off with the news, lawyers to the National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu have today filed officially the application seeking withdrawal of the petition challenging the victory of Yoweri Museveni over alleged bias and failure by court to prove independence. Supreme Court has also granted the petitioners leave to file the affidavits and give the hearing on notice. On Monday this week, the former opposition presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu directed his lawyers to withdraw the election petition filed in the Supreme Court challenging the victory of Yoweri Museveni in the concluded January 14th elections, accusing the judges of failing to prove their independence to offer a non-biased judgment.
It is clear that Mr. Alfonso Owiny-Dollo and the members of his court are not interested in giving Ugandans justice. No, they are not. That matter, ladies and gentlemen, for the reasons that we've given above, we have decided to withdraw from their court.
At 10 a.m. today, petitioners' lawyers led by Senior Counsel Medad Lubega Segona filed the application to withdraw the petition from the Supreme Court. These based the application on 6 grounds that included arrest of their witnesses, declining to grant the application to file more evidence, declining the amendment of the petition, security sealing off of the headquarters, among other issues. Close to 11 a.m., the 9 justices of the Supreme Court made their way in the designated court premises where court was set to start pre-hearing of the main petition seeking to nullify the election. Lawyers to the petitioner submitted their request for court to grant them leave to set the application for withdrawal of the petition from the Supreme Court. The application was, however, not objected to by the respondents.
It is true we filed this morning miscellaneous application number 05 of 2021 following our instructions from the petitioner to seek leave from this Honourable Court to withdraw the petition following the filing of miscellaneous application number 5 of 2021, my Lords, the Honourable Chief Justice and Justices of the Supreme Court. We seek your guidance on the schedule for hearing the same.
Court, however, put Seguna on spot to explain why he had not submitted a second affidavit as a lawyer to the petitioner, which the Presidential Elections Act stipulates in Rule 20, Sub-Rule 3.1 of the Presidential Elections Act.
What do you make of that provision with regard to who swears an affidavit?
My Lord, with respect to that particular one, yes, we have addressed our minds and intend to file a supplementary affidavit before close of business today.
Well, by close of business today?
Yes, my Lord.
Thank you.
Yes.
Counsel for the petitioner can have done all that is required to do by today. For us, we are happy to proceed before this weekend.
This created contention from the representatives of the first respondent, Yoweri Museveni.
The petitioner must swear an affidavit, but also the lawyer or the legal firm or the counsel representing him must do the same. But in this case, they brought the affidavit by Honorable Ssentamu Kyagulanyi, but the lawyer didn't do that. And to me, I think that is a sign of unseriousness on the legal firm. Why do that to Honorable Kyagulanyi?
It was filed according to plan.
period. We are not going to manage our case based on ignorance of the ignorant. We are going to manage our case based on our knowledge of the law, procedures and the processes of this court.
The Chief Justice ruled granting leave for the applicants to file their additional affidavits supporting the application to withdraw the petition, and the respondents to file their response setting out to give ruling on notice after the application gets published in the National Gazette.
It comes out, the notice comes out on the Gazette. We will give you the shortest notice to appear here for the hearing of the application. Until then, we are not able to proceed. So if we give you 2 days, and the rules are clear, Thursday, Friday, then the applicant, if there is need for any rejoinder must be filed not later than 5 o'clock Saturday.
The nature of presidential election petitions allows any other party to carry on with the petition. If the application to withdraw the petition is granted, this will be the first election petition of a kind to be withdrawn from the Supreme Court. Shamim Nabakooza, Paul Musoke for Speak Uganda, Record TV. Now, Parliament has today given the Minister of Internal Affairs only 1 day to produce the list of people who were arrested or kidnapped by security agencies and detained in unknown facilities. The MPs questioned why security agencies have delayed publishing the names of the incarcerated Ugandans, yet the President promised the country recently to make their names public.
During today's parliamentary sitting, MPs tasked the government security agencies to release the list of people they are arrested and they are being kept in unknown detention centers across the country. Legislators wondered why security agencies have failed to put out the list to the public, yet President Museveni ordered security agencies to make their names public to seize reports of disappearance.
Madam Speaker, when the President instructed the security agencies to release all the names, Madam Speaker, we haven't seen any name from all these security agencies.
When you talk about Nubian Lee, you talk about Eddie Mutre and those who are listed with him, my president of NUP. They are with UPDF and they are still with you. So the list is different.
Lawmakers emphasized that many families are yearning to know the whereabouts of their relatives who have been abducted in the famous drones.
And up to now, many Ugandans are still looking, searching for their relatives. They are nowhere to be seen, Madam Speaker.
All the security agencies have complied with the directive of the President by handing over the list of all the people who were arrested to the Uganda police.
The Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Lichwara Kadaga, who presided over today's evening sitting, directed the Minister of Internal Affairs to produce the list tomorrow without fail.
Honourable members, the Minister of Internal Affairs is directed to come here tomorrow and present the full list of all those in custody, whether under the UPDF, whether under the police. It shall be presented here tomorrow. And this is a question of violation of human rights. It takes priority over other business. Therefore, want the list tomorrow.
We shall ask Minister of Internal Affairs, who is in charge of security, dealing in the country related to civil society, will bring the report here. And if they are not incomplete, then that is another issue. But tomorrow, we shall ask Internal Affairs to bring whatever he has.
Recently, President Museveni said the reported missing people were arrested by military intelligence operatives and the Army Commando Unit on allegations that they participated in terror-related instances to disrupt the recent elections. Report compiled by Fred Kijwi for Speak Uganda, Record TV.
City residents, especially those living in Kawempe and YC, have a reason to smile as the work of construction quality drainage channels in Luigi and Nakamiro in Kawempe Division are progressing on very well. And today, the Minister of Kampala, Betty Amongi, visited the construction work of these channels, which are a big problem and a threat to the people when it heavily rains, and the construction was commenced last year, and this was expected to end in 18 months in January, funded with 60 millions. However, it has been discovered that the contracted company changed the original plan, saying that they needed an addition of 7 billion.
When it rains, many areas flood to the extent of destroying roads, people's property, including houses, and taking many lives of people. This has been commonly seen in YSM. Last year, government of Uganda commenced the work of constructing 3 drainage channels, Luigi and Nakamiro in Kawempe Division and Nalukolongo in Raga Division. The project was implemented under the World Bank, funded by Kampala Infrastructure Institution Development Project 2 and the government of Uganda. World Bank provided US $183.7 million to KCCA to conduct studies, carry out engineering works, construction of drainage, roads and capacity building. Now today, the Minister of Kampala, Betty Amongi, decided to visit the progress of the construction work of Luigi and Nakamiro drainage channel. While engaging with the constructors, it has been revealed that the original plan was changed.
At design review, they took it to 0.8 to 1 meter. Now, which had the cost implication, which money we didn't have. Yeah. So now, the reason the consultant wanted a thicker foundation is to allow heavy equipment to access and maintain. Yes. Now, we said, now we need to make a decision. Light equipment can also maintain the channel. We don't have that money. So, we went for half a meter. And that's half a meter is a compromise being able to.
Because now, you assured us when we presented in cabinet of this particular design and the justification for the cost going to the 60 was because of that type of work.
Later it was explained that the change in the plan was done so that they can reinforce the foundation of the drainage channel thicker, and the contractors needed an additional money of 7 billion, topping on the 60 billion agreed upon.
The decision was, since we cannot get a supplementary budget from Parliament or from the partners, cannot add the cost of the project, let us settle with the 50 to 60 centimeters, which still the maintenance would still be achieved, but through the machinery which are not heavy duty.
The construction work is expected to end this year in July as per the plan. However, the progress has been affected by floods and also people living next to the drainage channels, of which negotiations to give in their land is still ongoing.
The contractor has started work. Of course, progress is not satisfactory on our side. There are 60 locals who want us to pay for the land they are settled in and the houses that they have constructed. We cannot determine the cost now until the chief government valuer values their interest.
Report compiled by Grace Namuwiru for Record TV, Speak Uganda.
Moving on, the Parliamentary Committee of Human Rights has delayed to kick off investigations into cases of pre- and post-election violence due to lack of funds. The committee Vice Chairman Agnes Tucker disclosed that the committee is broke and the parliamentary administration has delayed to make funds available for the job to be completed. The committee is also expected to meet all former presidential candidates in its investigations. We have the details.
After the elections, which were marred by violence, Parliament tasked its Human Rights Affairs Committee to investigate cases of human rights violations and make a report in the space of 1 month. But the committee delayed to start, and the Chira Municipality Member of Parliament, Ibrahim Semjonganda, remanded Parliament last week. The Speaker made another directive to the committee to expedite investigations.
Who instructed the Committee on Human Rights to investigate the violation of these rights and then report to Parliament. Madam Speaker, since you gave that directive, I've been looking for the committee to give the information that I have. I don't see the chairperson and where the committee is sitting. Yet this violation is continuing.
Let me ask the committee to move expeditiously and give us a report as quickly as possible so that we can make some resolution.
With only 1 week left for the month, which was given to the committee to elapse, the Vice Chairperson of the Human Rights Committee of Parliament, Agnes Tucker, who represents Bujiri District, as the woman Member of Parliament, explained that the committee lacked money to do the job.
The committee has no money, but Parliament was looking around for resources to facilitate the committee. Maybe we shall have to ask for some more time because time has already been consumed by the administrative issues, and we hope within 1.5 months, maybe, we hope to be ready with the report.
However, she's hopeful that they may start the probe next week because they have been promised funds before this week ends.
We had to organize members to visit various districts where the violence occurred during the elections. So we have been working around the administrative issues, and we hope that in a few days or next week we shall be ready out in the field.
Taka disclosed that the committee is going to meet all presidential candidates on the 14th January elections to capture the accounts of the violence.
Meeting the presidential candidates is part and parcel of the investigations of the committee. So we intend to meet the presidential candidates that participated in the election, and that is an activity that is supposed to take place here at Parliament. But we could not invite them before going to the field.
The victims of abductions and kidnap are also going to be summoned before the committee to testify.
We intend to invite either the victims or the relatives of the victims. They will come and give us, of course, they give us their story and a clue. It guides the investigation on what exactly happened.
The Human Rights Committee plans to reach out to all regions of Uganda in the scope of the probe. Report compiled by Fred Kijimi for Speak Uganda, Record TV.
Thank you, Fred Kajubi. That takes us into a short commercial break. We'll return shortly with more stories.
Baby, every time I tell you a movie.
Downloading streaming DVD take kusimu yo. Win big every day with your TV. Win 200k cash every day. Buli wa moje funa. Luaso batido kusimu sigino kiria.
Wangula buli daily with your TV channels. Win 200,000 shillings daily and more in prizes. Download the Your TV channels app and enjoy your first month free without using your data. Watch local and international channels, movies, sports, news, and Telemundo all day. Your TV channels. The power is in your hands.
Oh, by the way, Carl, Mother will be visiting us this weekend.
Believe me, I'm counting the minutes. Eureka!
Red Bull gives you...
Welcome back from that short commercial break. I'm glad you're still watching Speak Uganda News. To remind you, we're live on our social media platforms, Record TV Uganda on Facebook, on Twitter at Record TV UG. You can join the news live right there. Moving on, a total of 9,804 fresh graduates have undergone interviews to have tentatively 151 job vacancies in government. The interview exercise began on the 17th last week, which was scheduled to end today on the 24th of February at Makerere University Department of Information Technology. Ones that will be shortlisted have been cautioned against corruption tendencies, and this has been revealed by the Deputy Spokesperson or Chairperson Public Service Commission, Dr. Hilda Musubira, while talking to the media.
Deputy Chairperson Public Service Commission Dr. Hilda Musubira explains the ongoing process of the recruitment exercise of workers and its purpose, saying that this exercise is done annually to fill up the vacancies within the different government agencies, which include Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of East African Community, Ministry of ICT, Internal Affairs, among others.
We have
vacancies in the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology for National Guidance Officer, there is one position. Marketing and Branding, Ministry of Trade and Industry, one position.
Dr. Hilda in the same way revealed that the exercise includes the above-mentioned government agencies plus people with disabilities, totaling to 129 who applied for the vacancies, including the deaf, blind and others with multiple complications. She has, however, appealed to the applicants that will be shortlisted for the selected vacancies to avoid involving in corruption tendencies.
Those who are blind, we had 27. Those who are deaf, 9. And those who have multiple challenges, 2, plus those who had other disabilities. In total, we had a number of 129 applicants with special needs.
Meanwhile, Masiko Esau, Assistant Commissioner for Selection System in the Public Service Commission, has revealed plans that are underway by government to introduce the Parking Braille machine purposely to reduce on the burden people with disabilities face while taking their interviews, especially in areas of typing and others.
Equipment that will help the blind and the deaf. So I want to range from buying parking brailles and then to have a software called JAWS that will enable some of the applicants who can use the JAWS software to be able to have that chance also to do the exams.
Peace Nabwami for Record TV, Speak Uganda.
Officials from the Office of the Inspectorate of Government have today met media owners and managers to devise means on how the Inspectorate can partner with the media houses in the fight against corruption. These agreed and sealed off a conference at Hotel Africana where they raised numerous issues, inclusive of those of corruption in government offices.
Deputy IGG George Bamugemereire has revealed that the Inspectorate has recovered wealth worth 10 billion shillings. Bamugemereire says this money was swindled by government workers for personal gains.
Nayenga ebyetufunyeko value biri in excess ya billion nga 10. Abantu bakomeza bintu gamba kale kituufu natwala sente zizino ekintu kyange kikino mu kitunde oba mu kiteke mu linnya lya government mukole kye mwagala naye nga tulubirira kuzaayo bintu kukomyawo sente za government mu treasury.
Bamugemereire adds that last year over 280 people were investigated and awaiting sentencing by courts of law, and over 1,170 have been successfully disposed of.
Mu mwaka guno tusobodde okumala investigations y'emisango 1,117 nga gino girimu emisango ffe gye tutwalanga eminene ennyo gye gibadde nga 18 n'emisango gye tugamba nti gya bulijjo mu mwaka guno.
Bamugemereire pointed to laxity amongst those responsible for fighting corruption, who instead just look on, which justifies the unending corruption in government agencies.
Abatakola mirimu gyabwe bulungi oba abasobye mu nkola y'emirimu ne tukola recommendations ku district service commissions oba public service commission basobole kubakangavula.
And Twine explained that leadership code process is going to seal the talk about corruption in the country.
Yes, we have the leadership code now. We have the leadership code tribunal now, and it is going to help us. It is going to be a game changer in this area of enforcement of the leadership code.
Father Simon Lokodo in his speech thanks the media for the tireless efforts towards fighting corruption, something he says has enabled government make meaningful follow-ups on many scandals, but also issued an ultimatum to all public servants to declare their wealth between the month of March.
The media has an important role in the fight against corruption. I want to say this. And as it can demand accountability and transparency from the public or private sector.
John Jimmy Musimbi, Record TV, Speak Uganda.
Away from that, Ministry of Works and Transport has announced the process to phase out driving permits, thereby introducing driving licenses, and these have been revealed by the Minister General Katumba Wamala during a press conference at the Uganda Media Center today.
Of recent, there has been a slow movement in issuing driving permits, which arose many questions among drivers. Today afternoon, General Katumba Wamala, the Minister of Works and Transport, while addressing press at Media Center, informed that there have been transition period of the company issuing these documents, in addition to upgrade to the driving license, which will be launched on 1st March.
We are now in the transition. First Technology is the company which had been contracted to issue driving licenses. You remember, it has been working from Chambogo, and that's where they have been. And we had a contract running with them, but that contract has expired, and now we are moving into a new service provider called the Uganda Security Printing Company, which is going to be issuing the licenses. In the past 3 months, our customers up country have not been served, and we know this because we were transitioning. We are moving away the equipment of First Technology and putting in the equipment of the Uganda Security Printing Company.
General Katumba informed that the driving license will be working for 5 years, as opposed to 3 years of driving permit, to give ample time to drivers, adding that they can apply for the years they want.
The new driving license is 5 years, as opposed to the 3 years. So it's, again, it's an advantage that you are going to have. You don't have to be running every 3 years to renew your driving license. Why 5 years? Because people grow. In 5 years, my board may be twice this size. So I may have to change the appearance on the driving license. You can decide. You can pay for 1 year, you can pay for 3 years, and you can also pay for 5 years. So it's a matter of choice. If you don't have enough money for 5 years, you pay for 1 year. Then you go back and renew.
Asked whether driving permits are to be dropped, General Katumba informed that they will be working until their expiry date, after when drivers will apply for driving license.
If you have your driving license, your driving permit from First Technology, just keep it. When it expires, we shall renew at that time. There's no need to stampede. There's no need to stampede to rush for renewing. They are running concurrently, okay? So when your expiry time comes, then you come and renew. And when you renew, you now get a driving license instead of a driving permit.
Kachawe Winston, the Commissioner of Transport Regulation and Safety, based here to explain the charges to be incurred for those applying for driving license, and also explained how much they will be paying when they come for the renewal.
So if you refer to the Finance Act of 2016, 1 year validity is 55,000. The 3 year validity is 150,000. And the 5 year validity is 250,000. This is first time applicant. And then we have renewal, 1 year 50,000, 3 year validity 130,000, 5 year validity 230,000.
It will be remembered that it is Uganda that will be the first country in East African community to have a driving license that will allow its drivers to drive across the community. Julius Tukachungwa, Record TV, Speak Uganda.
Now, the United States of America's Department of State spokesperson Ned Prince, addressing the press today, revealed that all individuals involved in January 14th election malpractice and human rights violation in Uganda will be held accountable. Uganda lost lives of 59 people to gunmen in pre-election violence actions that have been followed by kidnaps of opposition supporters that have been since targeted and have been tagged on masterminding by government. The state security agencies have been accused of that, as the opposition has strongly come out to reject the results announced by the country's electoral commission body.
That Uganda's January 14th elections were marred by election irregularities and abuses by the government's security services against opposition candidates and members of civil society. We strongly urge independent, credible, impartial, and thorough investigations into these incidents. We'll consider a range of targeted options to hold accountable those members of the security forces responsible for these actions. When it comes to President Museveni, Uganda, of course, does continue to play a regional role and does have an important role when it comes to some of our interests in the region. It is a troop contributing country to AMISOM in Somalia, in its international efforts to defeat al-Shabaab. But again, this goes to the point that we've now made even more times throughout this briefing, that we can pursue our interests and pursue our values at the same time. We are considering, as I said, a range of targeted options to hold accountable those who are responsible for what we saw in the context of Uganda's elections, just as we continue to work with Uganda to pursue some of our mutual interests.
And that marks the close of Speak Uganda News tonight. I am Shamim, Nabakooza and Sarah Ochirot, who have been taking you through the news. Up next is Miracles of Jesus on Facebook, Record TV Uganda on Twitter, at Record TV UG, at Nabakooza1, my Twitter handle. Have a good night. Stay tuned.